everybody. As usual, I started a couple minutes early because I wanted to give time for people to see the notification that I'm here and to go ahead and join us. I'll just wait a minute or two and then I'll get started. So I want to say while we're waiting for anybody that sees this, I have somebody that's offered to transcribe these so that we can have a written format that'll get thrown up wherever it's useful, including my website and maybe, I guess, here if you guys want it. I don't know. I'm still looking for somebody to edit this so that we can put it on YouTube also. And edit it means things like taking off these first couple minutes where I just sit here and talk to myself. Yeah, so we'll see. So if you have video editing capabilities and you want to help out, please hit me up. I would appreciate it. All right, evidently I'm not patient today, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully people will join in or watch later. As always, I will say that I will continue doing this Monday through Friday at 12:15 until I get the word that people aren't interested and don't want to see it. And I'll tell you, that doesn't mean watching it live. Like, I would love it, but I don't really care, and I get things are weird right now. I absolutely see the video count afterwards, and I check that periodically. So as long as that video count is more than 10 people, I think I'll keep doing this. So I want to take a moment. I'll introduce myself. So hello, my name is Melanie Sibley. I am a licensed clinical social worker with a private practice here in Champaign, Illinois. I had a lot of college students that went home rather quickly and unexpectedly. Many of them lived out of state. As a result, I have a lot more free time than I normally would. I'm seeing everybody else right now online, but I have big gaps in my schedules because of my out-of-state college students. So I decided I needed to do something to be of service, and this felt appropriate. I will also say that I continue to be uncomfortable doing Facebook Live. So if you see me, I don't know, start to stutter or ramble or whatever, eventually I will get comfortable doing this. I'm not there yet. So please bear with me with all of that. Also, I specialize in anxiety and depression, and I think, although these are definitely unique times, the skill sets that I teach my clients on a regular basis hopefully will be of use to all of you, some of you, many of you, whatever. Okay, so first, and I say this every day, and I will continue saying this every day, maybe in part I need to hear it, but I definitely think we all need to hear it, is that whatever you're feeling is fine. Like, there is no blueprint for what is going on. There is no, you should behave this way, you should feel this way, you should do this, you should think this. What the fuck is happening? None of us know. And so we have to respond in the best way we can. And we are going to feel whatever feelings we have. So if you are feeling a lot of anxiety, you're not alone. Like, I definitely have my times of huge anxiety. If you're feeling anger, I get that also. I mean, I do my moments of anger. Like today driving in, somebody was, I thought, tailgating me. I'm like, the fuck is wrong? It was not them. It was just me responding to everything else, and it was coming out sideways. So fear, anger, sadness, it's a little unsettling, but I find myself at random times, and usually it's acts of kindness. When I witness them, they make me want to cry. And so being tearful, crying, I found myself, I was watching a video from a therapist Facebook group, and another therapist was on talking to us, and I stopped in my driveway before getting out of my car, and I watched it. She was live like this. I watched it until it froze up, actually, and I just found myself crying super hard. Not long, but crying super hard. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay. It doesn't, whatever your emotions you're experiencing, the negative ones, they're fine. This is what is this? We don't know. What matters is that we don't get overwhelmed by our emotions. So when I got mad at the person that was not tailgating me, that I thought was tailgating me, and you're right, I work with this. So again, I'm human. I still have my shit come up, but in that instance, I'm really sensitive to my anger right now. So when I got pissed, I knew that it had nothing to do with the driver. when I felt those tears yesterday, and when I found myself in my car crying, I was able to sit with the crying and be okay with it and feel relief from it, but it didn't last. It only lasted however long it lasted, right? So if there's hours of crying, if there's hours of anger or anxiousness or whatever, then we need help. Then something needs to be tended to. But just having these feelings is fine. And I'm going to give you this also. If you're just kind of chilling out and getting through this and it's not really phasing you that much, you're fine too. So I don't, because I almost feel sorry for people that are just kind of like floating through this, like, okay, it is what it is and I'm fine. Like, good for you, truly. And that is beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you that you're in denial or you're making it up or whatever if you're doing fine with this. But also, please don't tell those around you that are hurting that they're overreacting. There just is no right or wrong. We feel what we feel. And I just cannot stress that enough. I will also say a theme that has been coming up for me in sessions a lot this week are my beautiful clients who feel guilty for being scared for themselves or feel guilty for being worried or stressed. I've heard I'm selfish for this, or I shouldn't, what about everybody else? And I shouldn't feel bad for myself because there's so much worse going on. So there is a lot, and I will speak for myself. I am worried about my finances, as so many of us are, but still in many ways I'm very well situated. And so my heart hurts for everybody who is struggling more than I am. But I can't compare my fears and my pain to anybody else's. Like, it's not like you're at a 2 and I'm at a 4, or you're at an 8 and therefore my 2 doesn't count. Like, all our pain, all our experiences are individual and they are all valid. So it's okay. It's okay to feel scared for yourself. It's okay to feel pain for yourself. It's okay to think about your needs. And it's beautiful to recognize that there are other people that are struggling more than us. Both sides of that are okay. Hi, Dawn. Thank you for joining. So your pain is valid, and you don't have to discount it because other people have other pain. I feel like I've heard that a lot this week, so I wanted to address it. Also, really fast, just a quick shout out. I want to shout out to, as some of you can see, I'm in a new office, and my poor little heart yesterday, I was convinced this was not going to happen, and I had boxes everywhere and everything was a hot mess. I just moved downstairs. I moved a floor. So thank you, 2 Men in a Truck, one, for confirming on Monday, but also reminding me and me reminding them this is flexible. Things change, they change. But thank you guys for calling me Monday to confirm. And then I thought other things were going sideways, so I called, freaked out yesterday. You called me back. You were super kind. No, it's fine. We're still happening. My movers got here early, and they were beautiful, beautiful young men. I so appreciate you for everything you did, and I wish you the best. I want to thank Pavlov. Who are they? They're campus communications group. They somehow, my internet had gotten dropped between the cracks, and it wasn't even scheduled for yesterday. And the guys that came out, I told them what the deal was. So they came out on their own. They weren't even supposed to work, I think. And they came out and they took care of me and they set this up, and above and beyond. I cannot express my gratitude enough. And then Hinkley, and I'm sorry, I already forgot your name, the guy that came and set up my water and brought me the water jugs and the cooler and all of that. You're just out there grinding away, doing your shit, and I appreciate you. And I appreciate everybody else that is out there. And we see, and I do appreciate you, doctors, scientists, nurses, but let's do the office staff at the hospitals, right? Because there's a ton of people that are showing up at all these healthcare clinics that are still doing their job and putting their health at risk. And I want to thank you. Oh, there's a lot of people watching. But also, I want to thank the ones that first responders, yes. So the cops that are out there, the firemen, the ambulance, all of you guys, I see you and I appreciate you. But I feel like for some reason, maybe because they don't get paid as much, but the delivery guys, UPS, our postal workers, our Instacart drivers, thank you guys, Grubhub, everybody at grocery stores and pharmacies and there's just so many fucking people that are out there keeping this together for us. And as scary as this is, I get that in some ways you guys don't have choices, like you're fucked, and I that breaks my heart. But also, without you doing what you're doing, I don't even know. Like, I can't comprehend what our world would be like if you guys weren't still getting dressed, suiting up, and showing up and doing your job. So I want to thank all of you, because this is scary, and you guys provide relief and comfort in ways that I don't think you necessarily get. So I want to know that you're seen, and I appreciate you. Okay, so there's that. I want to start, I think it's useful to start with the 4-7-8 breathing. I talked about why we do this on Wednesday. So if you want the deeper explanation, go watch Wednesday's video. But I will explain what it is, explain how to do it, like talk you through once, and then I will close my eyes because it's super awkward watching you with my eyes open or just watching a screen. But we'll practice it a few times, okay? So 4-7-8 breathing. First, we want to breathe from down in your belly, down, and I know you can't see it, but down here. And there is research that shows that breathing from your abdomen, belly breathing as I call it, it physically calms you. It physically relaxes you. So this is more of the anxiety, fight or flight breathing. Down here is going to be the calming breathing. So that's part of it. The other thing is, as much as you can and as much as you need to, visualize those numbers, because when our anxiety is running super fast, and I'll talk about this again in a little bit, but we can get caught up in the anxious thoughts and only thinking that. And if you can visualize the numbers, then that puts a little bit of distance between you and those thoughts that are running like crazy, as they are for everybody right now. I will also say, the way I do it is 4-7-8, and my pacing is my pacing and probably won't be what you need. Use whatever numbers you want. The numbers, like what the numbers are, don't matter. What matters is that you count, you visualize the numbers, and you breathe from the belly. I got a text really fast. I'm going to check it just to make sure. All right, I don't think it... Oh, nope, that was somebody else. So I'll read that later. I thought maybe it was about this. Okay, so 4-7-8 breathing from your belly. And how it goes is you breathe in to the count of 4. You hold for the 5, 6, 7. You go out on a slow 8. And again, I want us to do this just to settle so that we can be present. Oh my. Hi, I'm busy right now. I'll be back in a second, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. That was my neighbor. So it's nice to not be in the building alone. Okay, now I need 4-7-8 breathing because this is a new environment and that scared the crap out of me. Okay, so I'm going to count you through once and then we're going to do it together and then we'll continue on. Wow, I can feel my heart. She really did startle me. Okay, so you breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 6, 7, out on a really slow 8. Okay, so go ahead and you do that or not. You know, I won't know. I can't see you. I'm going to do it because I need to center myself again. And then we'll come back and keep talking. Okay, so I would love to hear if you guys want in the comments or anything else to let me know how that felt. I do 4-7-8 breathing a lot. I teach it constantly, and maybe it's because I have practice with it, but I can feel myself settle just from doing that. I think that was needed. So that felt beautiful for me. Hopefully it felt good for you also. So today I want to talk a little bit more about anxiety and how it affects our brains, basically. I think a couple days ago I talked about the physical reactions and why exercise helped with that. One of the things, if you notice about anxiety, is that if we get super anxious, we end up with racing thoughts, we end up with muddled thoughts, it's hard to think clearly, all of these things happen. And there's a reason for that. And it makes, I love understanding this, because then I don't feel so crazy. Oh, you're welcome, Dana. Hi, I'm so glad you're here with us, Dana. I'm glad that helps. Practice that all the time. Okay, so our thoughts. What happens when we get activated? What happens when anxiety, stress, anger, all of these things happen is our amygdala back here is like our alert system. The amygdala says, holy crap, there's a grizzly bear right in front of me, or whatever the danger is. And obviously there are, for most of us, never grizzly bears, but our reptile brain back here just knows fear or whatever, danger basically. And it translates danger to anxiety, anger, sometimes stress. And when that happens, the limbic system gets activated. Full disclosure, science is not my thing, so when I get parts of this wrong, please don't beat me up. Feel free to correct me, but yeah, this is not going to be 100. It's going to be close though. So the limbic system gets activated. Our body reacts in 1,000 different ways. And our thinking and our rational and our judgy part of our brain up here, our prefrontal cortex, goes offline. It fucking shuts down. And really, if you think about that, it makes a ton of sense. So think about if there's a grizzly bear standing in front of you, what you need to do. You need to react. You need to run, you need to fight, you need to do something immediately. You don't have time to think, oh, is he 10 feet away? Should I jump? Should I hide? I wonder how tall he is. He's 7 foot. I think, well, is he 7.5 feet? Right? If you stop to really think rationally, and if there really was a grizzly bear, you'd be dead. So basically, all of us with super high anxiety, man, we're the ones that lived. We're the ones that lived back in the day. Unfortunately, our brain, our reptile brain especially, has not got caught up with this day and age. So our thinking goes offline, our rational, logical, all of this turns off. And that's why you get muzzy thinking. That's why you start thinking fast. That's why the racing thoughts, the circular, I think of it like a hamster on a wheel, running circles but never getting anywhere. That's why that happens. And so the key is to slow your body down with the 4-7-8 breathing, because that helps regulate you a little bit, but then activate your prefrontal cortex some more. One of the reasons that I say count and visualize those numbers is because that helps activate the prefrontal cortex. Another thing, and we call it grounding, and that's cool, but I've worked with enough kids that they're like, I'm grounded? What did I do wrong? So grounding, anchoring, I like using, it's anchoring. I like be this moment, because I think that is very real. So we want to anchor ourselves in right now, and we want to reactivate our prefrontal cortex. A common thing that I've heard is, and I don't know how this works because I'm not really into it, like count 5 things you see, 4 things you hear. I don't know, 5, 4, 3, whatever. If you like that, if you know that and you like that, beautiful. But I'm going to kind of teach you a couple other ways to do it. How I learned this is that there's 3 types of grounding, and I think we're not necessarily going to do the third, but the first is mental and the second is physical. I was looking for my physical. I'm like, oh no, I'm in a new office. I don't know where anything is. So we're going to do the mental first. And I think for when our prefrontal cortex is offline, this is probably the most beneficial. And it is, again, just about thinking and being rational. So we're going to do this. It's really hard for me to do this without somebody in front of me. I'm used to teaching people this in session, but we'll do our best. Also, really fast, this probably won't feel like much of anything if you're not feeling anxious right now, but just in case. So if you're 0 is no distress or no anxiety, 10 is the highest distress you can get to, where are you right now? And I'll check in with myself, because I got startled when my neighbor walked in the door, and doing Facebook Live still geeks me up a little bit. I can feel my heart still. I'm probably at like a 2 or a 3, so fairly low, but I can still feel my anxiety. So check in. There is no right, there is no wrong. Your number is your number, so it's all good regardless. And now we're going to do just a little bit of the mental grounding. And I'm only going to do a few minutes of it because, again, it's super uncomfortable for me to do this like this. But look around wherever you are and name as many objects as you can name. So I guess I'll do mine. I don't know how to do this without anybody here. I'm used to people doing it with me. But I can see a vase, a rock. I'm going to be quiet now, but Okay, so that's one part. Another thing is, and I'll be like, name every color that you can spot and look around the room and name all the colors. Counting is nice. So if I had somebody in my office, I might ask them, maybe not because my tiles look really dirty, but I might ask them to count the tiles, count, I don't know, the spots on the rug, something like that. I had, when I interned at the psych hospital, I had a patient there tell me, he's like, oh, I already do that. And what he would do is he'd take a piece of paper and he would count like all the A's in it, something like that. So all of these are ways to ground. Counting is great. Count everything you can count. A little bit of like facts. So name all the TV shows you can think of, name all the cities you can think of, name all the, if you're into sports, name all the sports teams you could think of. That wouldn't work for me. I'd have 3, maybe. I think that might be generous. But so whatever it is, like your favorite books, your favorite authors, that's more my speed. But counting things, naming things, doing math. And the way I was taught it was, like if you start at 100, what's 100 minus 3? And then notice that number, 97. And then picture 97. What's 97 minus 3? Picture that number. Hi, Joy. And so on. I will tell you something that I used to do when I was a kid in church and super bored was I would add, and I think, I mean, I was bored, but I think it was still a grounding thing. So I'd be like, 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 8, and so on. And it kept me amused. And honestly, especially if you can picture those numbers, doing that math will bring your prefrontal cortex online. That's all we need to do. So that's the mental grounding, and I think that is super useful. If you're shutting down, that will help you. Another type of grounding, and I will say, if you're feeling yourself, if you know what dissociating is, and if you feel yourself dissociating, if you feel, so we talk about like all the way out here is being fully present, and the more you get in your head, the more you dissociate, the more you numb out. You're going all the way back to your amygdala, to your reptile brain, until you're fucking checked out and gone, right? Physical grounding, I think, is really useful to bringing you back to right now. And I think physical grounding is really useful to keep you from dissociating. And again, and I wish I'd thought of this ahead of time. Give me a minute. I'm going to get a couple props. Sorry. So in my office, I have my Buddha. And you can't tell, but he is brass. He is heavy as hell. And he feels, there's a lot of textures to him. So there's a lot of different things. And again, you can't really see, but there's a lot of intricacies to him. So taking something, anything, it's just my Buddha's my favorite, and really looking at it and feeling the weight and feeling if this is cold because it's brass again, it's a little cold to the touch. I can see like the lotus flower, the hand. So really anchoring yourself with a physical object can be super useful if you're going to the back of the head. So that's one of the things I do quite often with clients. Another physical grounding tool is lotion. So I have my nice lavender lotion. So if we use it, I love lotion. So this is fun, right? So first, there's the physicality of just feeling the lotion. This is actually surprisingly relaxing. I must not do this enough. So, but really being, not just putting it on and going, but just feeling the lotion on your skin. And because this is lavender, I have the scents also. So feeling the lotion on your skin, smelling the lavender and being aware of that. Those are really nice physical. Progressive muscle relaxation is a nice one. If you know what that is, you can Google it. And I will say, U of I Counseling Center or McKinley, somebody has some free guided progressive muscle relaxations and guided imagery, guided meditations. Like if you do U of I progressive muscle relaxation free, it'll come up in your search. I hope it's still, I haven't looked for it for a while. And I find those really useful. So you can find this stuff online. There's a billion places now, but definitely you can get it. Don't pay. You don't need to pay. If you want to, you can, but you don't need to pay for this shit. Another thing, when I taught this to the kids at the pavilion, it still cracks me up. But we used to do things like clench. So clench your fists, feel it in your arm, and just feel the physicality, all of that, and then release it. And feeling your body, just clenching your muscles. And again, it's kind of like progressive muscle relaxation and release. The favorite one that everybody loved for whatever reason, and you can do this with me if you want. It makes me smile because I remember doing this so many times. So clenching your palms together, it's almost like namaste, but it's not, because there's a lot of power. So palms together and really press in and feel it all. And just feel the tension, feel the stress, feel everything, and concentrate it in the palms of your hands. There's nothing magical, it's just useful. And then release it all. So you clench, and I can feel like, I keep trying to get straight and I can't, that's so weird. So clench, and you can feel that, I can feel the tightness all the way up my arms, all the way down. I can focus it all in my palms and just really feel the physicality and release. So there's a lot of physical things like that. Anything physical where you feel yourself is useful to ground. So both of those, the first one will help bring your prefrontal cortex online, which will help you be present and think clearly again, because when our amygdala says there's a fucking grizzly bear in front of us, this stops working. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just our bodies reacting the way they helped us survive for however long. But we need this back online because we're not cavemen anymore, and like, we don't need our amygdala and our limbic system to respond to the coronavirus. We need to be able to be clear-headed as much as possible. So mental grounding for that. And then if you feel yourself dissociating, if you feel yourself going from being present here and you're moving yourself back of the head, first, it's okay. This is hard. This is a hard time. So it's okay if you're back here. But we want to stay as present as we can. So physical grounding. I will also say that nobody stays all the way out here all the time, right? So I'm a student of Zen Buddhism. I practice it regularly. And not only my Zen teacher, but his teacher before him have said they don't spend their lives all the way out here. Nobody does, right? Anytime you drive home and you're like, how the fuck did I get home? You are here. Not a big deal. But we want to be mindful and we want to be in control of when we're going more back of the head. And there are times that that's not useful. So we want to come out here a little bit more. Maybe not all the way. Sometimes, but not a lot. But at least here. Okay. So that's grounding. Hi, Chris. I'm so happy you joined. It makes me happy when you're watching. So I'm going to take a second. If you guys have questions, this is a perfect time for questions. I'm going to check my notes because there's a few other things I want to talk to. And then we'll do container like we always do. Because, day 4 makes this a normal thing now. I don't know. So if you have questions, go ahead and type them in. What else did I want to talk about? Okay, there's a few things. So first off, and somebody asked me to speak to this. I will say this is not my area of expertise. So by all means, those of you that have children and that are parents, please speak to this more. Understand, I live alone. I don't have kids. So I can speak to this from a clinical place. I cannot speak to this from a living at place. If you have kids, what do you do? How do you talk to them? Here's what I will say to it. Here's my experience and my clinical knowledge is there has to be some honesty. There has to be some transparency. If you try and pretend like everything is fine and you're not scared or you're not upset or whatever, your kids are going to know. They're going to fucking know if you lie to them. And I know this is real. If you lie to them, if you try and hide what is happening or what you're experiencing, they will know, maybe not consciously, but in here, they're going to know, and then they're going to start making up stories. And I promise you, whatever stories they make up is 1,000 times worse than what the reality is. So have conversations, have authentic conversations. That does not mean that you should be like crying hysterically in front of your kids. That does not mean that you need to be spun up. But you get to own that this is unsettling for you also. And I hope this is okay. I'm going to use this as an example. I know it's not the same thing. And I don't ever, like, it's so, I don't want to lecture anybody, but I feel like it needs to be addressed. So with my clients and with all of you, you hear me say, I have periods where I'm scared, because I do. And if I lied to that, you all would want nothing to do with me, and you shouldn't. I say there are times when I get super anxious. This is a scary, uncertain time. And that's true. But I'm not flooded with my anxiety, and I'm not spilling it all over on everybody else. So there is that line between having the authenticity, acknowledging that this is difficult to them, but holding that safe space for them the way that I hold it for my clients, and all of us therapists hold it for our people. And I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps. I will say that, like, I think we're fucked no matter what, right? So me living alone and being isolated is really hard. And I think that's going to continue to be a struggle for me. And I'm going to have to find, all of us that live alone are going to have to find our ways to cope. There's a lady that walks, like, I'm coming back from my walk and I see her walking every morning. And I'm like, tomorrow I want to get your phone number and we can walk together. Separate sides of the street, plenty of distance, but I swear to God, I want to walk with her, because I don't even know her name. I've never seen her before this week. We don't have to be besties, because my bestie's already watching, but I need that human companionship. So that's me being alone. I also can't imagine what it's like living and not having anywhere to go and being on top of each other. And so my heart goes out to all of you also, because that has to be, I don't want to say equally as difficult, because again, apples and oranges, we don't get to compare, but that has to be difficult also. And especially, and I think maybe this is similar, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, when I was first really struggling with everything that's happening and I was working with my clients, it was fucking hard as hell, because I had to contain my emotions to be there for them. And I think that has to be kind of what parents are going through. I only do it, an hour at a time, and I get breaks in between. You guys have to do it 100%. So respect, props. I wish I could say and otherwise. If you can, if you're living like that and you're being the support, you're the one holding space for everybody's emotions, please find time to get out, to get away, so that you can feel. Because you do, to some degree, need to shut it down for your children. And I don't know that that's healthy. I don't know that there is a healthy in this. But find time. Schedule, if you need to, and I think this is legit, schedule your time. Be like, I'm going to get up at whatever. I get up early anyway. So for me, this wouldn't be ridiculous. I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to have an hour just to freak the fuck out for myself. And then I'm going to put it away. I'm going to contain it, right? I'll contain it and be there for my children. But by 1 o'clock, I know I'm done. So I'm going to go for a walk, and I'm going to cry, and I'm going to release it all until I feel calm again. And then I'll contain it and be back present. I hope that's helpful. Anybody else that has suggestions, please share them with me. Again, this is not something I experienced, but I think everybody being able to have their own quiet, alone time, husbands, wives, and the kids too, they might need some space also. It's got, I don't know what it was like for the kids. I have no conception of this. But please honor what your needs are and respect what everybody else's needs are, or try and learn them, because they might not know either. Okay, so I wanted to talk to that. Okay, so I think it's useful to talk about the daily, and I know I seem to do this every day too, but I want to make sure people understand. Staying at home, self-isolating, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is challenging. And it is a recipe for disaster for people that struggle with mental health. It's a recipe for disaster for people that struggle with depression. And honestly, I think it's challenging for all of us. So here are my suggestions for just managing the day-to-day. And the first one always is to have a routine. I'm getting concerned for some people because they're doing that flip, staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning, sleeping until 2 in the afternoon. Fastest way I noticed to kick off a depressive episode. I know it's hard, but like I have dogs, or my cat actually is the one that like just claws and a meow. But I know if I don't get up, I'll have scars because she'll scratch me. She won't. Well, she will, but she wouldn't bleed. But so if you don't have animals or kids that wake you up at the same time every day, this is shitty. Set your alarm clock. If you want, give yourself one day a week where you don't set your alarm clock, but set your alarm clock. Get up at about the same time. Go to bed at about the same time. Do your best to eat at the same time. Please make sure you're taking your medicine, because if you get out of routines, taking your meds can get complicated. And not taking your meds, be it health or mental health, like that's the fastest way to get fucked up that I can think of. So take your meds consistently every day, same time, with or without food as directed. I have to say, tend to your personal hygiene. I love that I'm coming into work because it forces me to, my hair would be a rat's nest if I wasn't coming in every day. It would. So makeup, if you are a makeup person, hair, if you're a hair person, get dressed. You can't tell, but I'm wearing jeans. I say, and if you want, have work schedules. Say from 10 to 4, I have to be in work clothes, or at least wearing jeans and have makeup on. As soon as I get home, my makeup comes off. I go back into my sweats. But have that structured time where you're dressed like you would be dressed any other day of the week. Exercise, I can't tell you how important it is to exercise and how important it is to get outside. To my understanding, and there's people here that can correct me, but to my understanding that even the people that are shelter in place can still get out and walk their dogs, do whatever. You just can't be around people or go to stores. Please get out and go for walks. Please get out from behind those four walls. I'd say sunshine. It's cloudy, but the sun is still there somewhere. Get sunshine, get your blood pumping, get some cardio going, and just see something different. Also, again, I will say there is no right or wrong. So you have to make the choices. And I think now we're in a different time. I think earlier this week, people were like, should I go out? Should I go out? Whatever. I think we're kind of settled in. But if you're still being pressured to do something that you don't feel is safe, you have to say no. Because I will respect the people that think this is nothing and they aren't doing anything differently. If that's you, you're probably not watching me, honestly. But okay, that's your choice. If you feel this is serious, if you are, I don't even want to say scared, fuck that. If you are worried about giving this to other people, if you are worried about contracting this, and if you feel that you need to self-isolate, that is fine. I know therapists that are coming in and still seeing clients. Cool beans. That's good if you feel comfortable doing it. I have no judgment whatsoever. I know me, I am evidently coming in Monday through Friday and doing all my stuff online for now. Cool beans. I mean, for me, obviously, there's no judgment because that's what I'm doing. I have another friend who's a therapist is like, I love getting all my work done from bed. I'm going to keep this up forever. So she isn't leaving her house. Outstanding. Good for her. Do you see how all of us are responding differently, but we are all responding appropriately for how we feel? You have to do the same thing. And if people pressure you otherwise, man, find me, come see me as a therapist, and I'll teach you how to say no and set boundaries. I love doing that, for reals. But you have to learn how to set those boundaries and say no and keep yourself safe. And we have to stay connected. And I feel like that is one of the biggest challenges, but also one of the most important things. So however that looks like, calling, FaceTiming, Skyping, I will say that I think that only online is limited. I suspect at some point, this because I won't work this weekend, so I won't be here and I won't be engaged with any of this stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go sit in my driveway for a while and just wave at people and chat them up as they walk by. I know that's fucking stupid as hell, but I'm going to need to see human beings and say hello and good morning and to smile at them and have people smile at me. Like, I just do. So we're going to have to be, I know probably everybody's seen the videos, like the people in Italy that are all exercising on balconies with the guy leading it from the rooftop. I thought that was stupid when I saw it. I'm like, oh, give me another month and I'll be doing that too. Probably not a month, probably 2 weeks, and I'll be like, yep, I'm right there with you. So do whatever you need to do to be safe, but to be connected. Just really fast again, if you need support, if you need therapist support, there's nothing wrong with that. We are generating a list of people that will take sliding scales for the duration of this crisis. I will include myself on that. I will also say Blue Cross Blue Shield, private pay, student insurance is surprisingly awesome. And there should be floating around soon a spreadsheet full of therapists that are doing sliding scales, whatever. I think everybody's doing online. I won't be able to find whoever is doing in persons at this point. I can't help you with that. But if you need a therapist, no shame. Online is absolutely available. I am accepting new clients. I'm chill if you don't want to see me. I don't want to say I don't care, but I really don't care. It won't hurt my feelings. If you want a therapist and you don't want it to be me for whatever reason, hit me up and I will link you with whoever's appropriate. Let me see, Dana. I worry about running out of hand sanitizer. I think that's a valid fear. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I wish I could say, oh, it'll be back in stores in a couple weeks. Dana, I'll ask, are you staying home? Are you going out? I would think. I don't know. I don't know your situation. Are you at home with your parents? Because if you are, then you don't need hand sanitizer at home. And I understand, like, what? I wash my hands so much more than I've ever washed them before, which is why I have so much lotion around. If you don't have hand sanitizer, I will also say though, wait a second, fuck that. If you run out of hand sanitizer, you can use soap. So if you have to leave your house, bring a big ass jar of water, bring hand soap, bar soap. There's tons of that still in stores. Hand soap is still available. Because I know your mom and we go back like a trillion years, if you want bar soap, I will mail it to you. Because I used to make soap and I have cases of soap. I will never run out of soap. You can take hand soap, you can take water, and wherever you are, you can step outside and you can wash your hands with whatever you have, and then the jar of water, you can rinse them. So hand sanitizer comforts me also, but we're fine with just soap and water. And in some ways, that's probably better anyway. I never thought of that. We're fine if we run out of hand sanitizer because we just need soap. And you have plenty of soap because I know your mom, so I'll mail it to you if you want me to. Okay. I don't know if you're still there. I hope that helped. It was sincere too. I really will mail it to you. Thanks so much. Anybody that wants soap, I will give it to you. Okay, so if you need a therapist, there's no shame. You can do it online. Reach out to me and either work with me or I'll hook you up with whoever you want. I have no issues with any of that. And I'm not thin-skinned when it comes to therapy. So now we're going to practice container. Some of you have done this with me. Some of you have not. So I will explain it briefly. And if you want the longer version, go back to Monday. I was going to say Monday's episode like I'm some TV, whatever. Go back to my Monday's live. And I talk about it more in depth. So the container exercise is something I learned with EMDR. And you don't have to use bilateral stimulation, BLS. I have found that it absolutely strengthens it, and I have found the butterfly hug is research driven, so we know that it's effective through research. I am so shocked because I thought it was the stupidest thing ever until I actually showed a client how to do it and did it with them. I'm like, oh, I like this. I find the butterfly hug super comforting and super soothing. So with that, I will explain. So interlock your thumbs, place them on your chest. We use bilateral stim for a lot of things. When I'm in session, I will use it to clear trauma memories. I'm never going to do that online as far as I can conceptualize. Time could show otherwise. But we also use bilateral stim to strengthen positive things. So resources, creating a safe place, creating a container. And when we do it for good stuff, we go super slow. So, pat with me. Or again, not. Your choice. Now go ahead and imagine a container. It can be anything you want, as long as it's not something you see on a daily basis. We want it to be strong. And we want it to not be clear or transparent. have to close my eyes because I do this with you. So my container is some white science fiction-y looking glowing cube. So imagine yours. And then think about how big is it? It can be any size. Some are as big as my building. Mine fits in the palm of my hand. What material is it made out of? What color is it? Is it hard or soft or even flexible? Hot, cold, room temp, rough, smooth. Mine is super slick. How do you open it? And how do you close it? Go ahead and open your container. And now we're going to take all the scary stuff, all the bad stuff that we don't have any control over, and we're going to visualize something to symbolize. Some people have books, post-it notes, little figurines of the stuff, whatever will symbolize it. I will say we are not going to try and put COVID-19 into the container because we can't make that go away. We can put, what if I get sick? Because we have no control over that. We just have control over being healthy right now. We can put, what if my caseload never fills up again? I have no control over that. I only have control over my schedule in the now. So all the icky stuff, all the out of control stuff, all the scary stuff, go ahead and put every single thing into your container. And take some time to do that. Go ahead and close your container. And lock it. How are you going to lock it? Lock your container. Now I am going to invite all of you to float your containers into my office here. And you can go ahead and leave them with my Buddha. My Buddha is very strong and very calm and serene, and he can handle all of your containers. Okay, and then we can stop. In the future, when you start to feel out of control, let's think now you have a few coping skills. Exercise, 4-7-8 breathing, container. And many of you probably have your own coping skills already, and I would love to hear what they are. So in the future, as needed, go ahead and use the container exercise. Open it up, put everything you need to in it, close it, and then bring it back here. I am going to be gone for the weekend, but I will be back Monday of next week through Friday at 12:15. If you have things you want me to address, please, I left my contact information, so you can call, you can text, you can email. Those are my work contact information. You can message me on Facebook. I think I've set the boundaries for myself because I need to find this balance, and it could change. I don't know what the good balance is. But for now, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, I'm available. Not available before 9 a.m., not available after 5 p.m., and not available on the weekends. So take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I will talk to you on Monday. Peace.